Hello, I'm Colin Hinson. This video presentation is the last activity for the Open Education course that has been running through the Open University for the past 7 weeks. I want to talk about the one aspect of openness in education that interests me the most, and in which this course has allowed me to develop and strengthen my ideas. My background is in museum and heritage education. I have always believed that the educational role of the museum is to open up their collections as much as possible and to allow people to learn from them in their own way. So, a 19th century piece of clothing such as a dress will speak differently to an art student, somebody who is learning to sew and knit themselves, a social historian or a materials scientist. One object and many different ways of learning from it. So museums have a mission to make as much of their collections as open as possible. Of course, museums can only display a fraction of what they hold. For instance, the British Museum in London holds more than 2 million objects, but only about 1% is on display at any one time. Nearly every museum will allow people to access most of the objects in their collections. However, this is usually at the discretion of the curator. It has to be booked in advance and has to have some kind of academic justification behind it. Hardly what might be called open. Again, a lot of major museums have now put their collections on an online database so that visitors to your website can browse through anything that interests them, although even this can be incomplete. The Smithsonian has over 100 million artifacts, but only about 8 million can be searched online. That's less than 10% of their collections. So again, hardly open. What I have learned from this course is that there are different degrees of openness, and that whilst many museums might believe that they are open, they still have some way to go. Open learning should allow users to repurpose what they find in order to create new open educational resources and to share that with others. The Victoria and Albert Museum in London allows people to download high-resolution images from their database, but does not allow those images to be changed without permission. Of course, there are exceptions to this. Returning to the Smithsonian, their terms and conditions allows images to be used for educational or fair use as long as they are acknowledged, which seems fair enough. Now is the time for museums to bite the bullet and to let go of their collections. In terms of Creative Commons licenses, this should be at least attribution, non-commercial. This allows people to use and change images from their collections but does not allow for commercial use. Museums are having a hard financial time at the moment, and it would be wrong to take away a potential source of income. The Open Educational Resource Movement and the historic and contemporary mission of museums seem to me to have a lot in common. It's simply that museums are in general lagging behind. It will require a cultural shift in some museums to go the whole way and make their collections truly open. Museums remain the custodians of our collective memories, but it is up to us to decide what should be done with those memories and what we can learn from them. I would like to finish by saying thanks to the Open University and to my fellow students. Your support and feedback was invaluable. I hope we station